Welcome to Beyond the Call podcast, where we tell the stories of those people behind the jobs we rely on. We go into the good, the bad and the ugly, and we shine a light in what can be a dark place. Just a warning, the content can be graphic and distressing, so please use your discretion. Please like and subscribe on your podcast platform and our social media. And if you have feedback, I read every single one. Let's get on to this episode of Beyond the Call. G'day everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Call. This one's a special one. It's my first in-person conversation. So today I've got Willow with me. Now Willow's a person that I've known, she's a friend I've known for a few years, and she was, I wouldn't say hiding a story, but she has a story that I sure as shit didn't know about, and it's a story that needs to be told, and it's a really brave story that she has to tell. So Willow's had a traumatic past, and she's going to go through this, and she's never told basically anyone about it. And she's decided that she wants to take ownership of this and put this out in her own words. So, Willow, thanks for joining me. It's really brave, and I'm really happy to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. She's nervous as hell, so
So nervous.
it's just a chat between friends. So yeah, this is the first one I've ever done in person. So we're actually using a podcast studio at our local library, which I've never done before. Normally I do it remotely. So yeah, we'll see how this all goes. What I didn't know that I only just saw, did you know today is National PTSD Awareness Day?
I did not.
Well, there you go.
Oh my God, yay.
So
For
that's the day
us.
we're recording it, and we've both got PTSD. I actually hate it being called PTSD. I wish they would change the name to PTSI, because to me it's an injury, not a disorder. And when it's when the word disorder just kind of, I think it gives you your own self-negative talk to it, whereas the word injury is more like, this happened to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Disorders and because I've got more than just the complex PTSD, it does make you feel like you're so totally broken when the thing that you have is a disorder.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So what we're going to do is this might be a long one, people, and there's going to be some pretty deep and dark shit that we're going into, but that's reality, and that's why we're here, so that Willow can tell her story, and yeah, and you'll understand why. So let's go from the beginning. Where were you born, and where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I was born in Penrith. My dad was in the RAF, and so all the kids were born in the same hospital, Penrith Hospital. We moved to Queensland when I was very, very young. I don't remember our first house in Queensland. And then Mum and Dad built a house in Morayfield. So I grew up in Morayfield, went to school in Morayfield. I'm the youngest of three. I have two siblings that are 5 and 7 years older than I am, blood siblings. And then I have a younger stepsister and also a much younger half brother.
Okay. And how was family life growing up?
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. So a lot of people think youngest child, golden child. Not the case. Absolutely not the case. I say that I was the forgotten child because my siblings had more freedoms. They had more opportunities. And when it came to me, it was kind of like, you're just there. You know, one of the things I was, and I've processed it now, coming up to term with it, but the lack of nurture that was within my home. And it's not that there was a lack of love, but it was a lack of nurture. And I did gymnastics when I was really young. I had pleaded with my parents to do it, but I gave it up very quickly because when I would go, everybody else's parents were there. Mine were never there. When it came to doing anything with the school, like being in the band or being in the choir, anything outside of just the education, my parents were never there. Awards, those sorts of things, they weren't really present. So that how I grew up was not bad, but it also wasn't good.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, it wasn't I think people, when they think of bad childhoods, they think of abuse and, that really active negative stuff, whereas sometimes nothing is also not great. It's
Yeah.
not bad, but it's not great.
Yeah. It's not bad, but it's not great. And, I was also taken advantage of sexually as a young child by members within the family.
Yeah.
Um, so one of my siblings and two of my cousins.
Yeah, right.
My parents only know about one of my cousins. And when that sort of came to light, it was that cousin's no longer allowed to come to the house anymore. But there was no conversation, there was no care, there was nothing afterwards. It was
Yeah.
just
Eliminate the problem and then it kind of goes away.
and never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of how a lot of things were dealt with 20 years ago, 30 years ago, kind of things.
Yeah.
It's so how did you go at school?
I was a very high achieving student, partially because I was a high masking autistic that was very undiagnosed.
Yeah.
And because my parents they pushed me to be more like my brother. So my sister is the oldest. She was able to pursue her art and she started uni to become an art teacher.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was the highest achiever out of the family. And he was like, I think he got like a single digit OP, like it was score 4, school captain, all that kind of stuff. And it was always me trying to match my brother or be better than my brother.
Yeah.
So that I could get affection and recognition from my parents.
Yeah. What did you want to do when you were at school? Like what was your what was the goal? What was Willow going to do when she grew up?
I never knew the answer to that. When I was very young, I had wanted to be a performer. I had wanted to dance. I had wanted to sing. I had wanted to be creative. But my parents were like, that's not going to pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to pay the bills. You can't pursue that. And my mother used to tell me that I should be a lawyer because I like to argue with her so much. And I said I'd be a lawyer just so I could put her in a nursing home. So I pushed myself to study things like legal studies and ancient history and social studies. I pushed myself into science, and none of it ever really appealed to me. Like, it triggered curiosity, but it was never a passion.
Yeah.
So when I graduated year 12, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do, and I don't want to go to uni because I don't know what I want to study.
Yeah.
So
There's such pressure to go to uni, but if you're not, my biggest advice to anyone who's young, if you are not passionate about what you're going to uni for, don't go. Find something else. I went for 2 years. I was passionate about what I went into, but once I got there, I hated it. So you've got to be passionate about it. So you didn't go to uni. What did you do?
I first job I had out of high school was direct sales, like literally door to door knocking.
Yeah, right.
I would go through the industrial areas and sell things like remote control cars and not quite official merchandise and art sets and sunglasses, and like I did well and I learnt a lot from that. I did that for probably 6 months before my parents were on me again about having stable income. And my brother-in-law at the time got me a job working at the Optus stores because that's where he worked. And then from there, I was being bullied so much in the store that I was at. I was the only female on staff and I was the youngest. So you can just imagine what like boys are like.
Yeah. And that was that was kind of more in the day where sexual harassment was kind of normal.
Yeah. I I've definitely experienced a lot of sexual harassment in my workplaces prior to even where I got to. Um, one of my school jobs, I worked at a noodle bar, and I remember one of the cooks that was on. It was a weekend shift, so it was just him and I there. And he asked me to get something from the walk-in freezer. Next thing I know, he's followed me in, pinned me up against the door, and like kissed me.
Yeah, right.
I was like 16. This guy's like 30 something. But at the time, because I didn't know what love was supposed to feel like,
Mhm.
I was like, oh my God, I'm having positive attention from somebody. And it didn't even click that this was wrong. But yeah, lots of sexual harassment. And then while I was working at Optus World, my brother, who'd been on a gap year, was he on a gap year? Yeah, I can't remember, but he was overseas working in a ski resort and he was coming back. And my mum told me I had to move out because my brother needed my room.
Righto.
Yeah. And I was like, why do I have to move out? I'm like fresh 18-year-old. I've just started a job. I have nothing. So I tried to get my father to help me out, and he refused.
So mum and dad were separated at this time? Yep.
Yeah. They separated. They separated when I finished primary school in 2000. So yeah, I was. Oh, the headphones keep slipping on. My dad at the time was doing something with real estate. I don't know. He had all of these schemes, pyramid schemes that he would get involved in, multi-level marketing, all that kind of stuff.
Amway, that type of thing. Yeah.
That was one of them.
Yeah.
That was one of them. And so at the time he was in a real estate one, and I was like, can you help me buy a house? I know that I have 10 grand in inheritance sitting there. We can get like the first home buyers grant, da 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 da. And he was like, oh, I'll buy it for you if you live in Redcliffe. And I was like, but Redcliffe has no public transport and I don't have a license. And I work in a place that also has very limited public transport. So that there's no way for me to get between those two.
Mm.
And he's like, if you're not going to get a house in Redcliffe, I'm not going to help you buy a house. And he didn't help me move out, didn't help me get a bond together for rentals. My mum wasn't particularly helpful either. She did end up getting me a place to move to, which was this, it was her friend's study.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, so it wasn't a room, it was a fold-out couch. And
so your version of Harry Potter.
My version of Harry Potter, yeah. And so I very quickly found a relationship where I could leave that situation. And young, dumb, and stupid, that relationship ended badly. He was a man-child. Only way to describe it. He was a man-child. And so I, again, was like, so sorry, while we were together, he was like, I don't want you to work. I want you to stay at home and take care of the house. And I'm like, 18-year-old me was like, oh my God, really? Okay.
The dream.
So then when I found out that he was cheating on me and our lease was up, I'm like, I don't want to keep pursuing this. I was looking for work. I was just trying to figure out how I was going to get to the next stage in life. And I was messaging my abuser on like Plenty of Fish at the time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I agreed to go meet him because he said that he would be able to help me with work as well.
Yep. So you're 18. How old's he?
He was 42 when I met him.
Yep.
Yep. And I'd gone over there because he said that he was starting a clothing business. And I'm like, I want to be a fashion designer.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So went over, we had a chat, and then he told me that he would be getting phone calls because he also does massages. And I was like, "Mm, okay, sure, whatever, that's fine." And he told me about how much it costs, like how much money he was getting, and all of that. And I was like, I could give people massages for money. I could do that. Let's try it out. So moved into his place, started there, and
So when this happened, do you think you made these decisions, or do you think he was really good at planting these decisions in you?
oh no, he was very good at planting the decisions.
Yeah. So when you said about the clothing line and being you wanting to be a fashion designer, when you look back, do you think that you said you wanted to be a fashion designer first?
No,
Okay.
no, that that was something he brought up because he had a lot of different plates going. So the fashion line that he was making was only one of them.
Yep.
And then he was going to be putting together an art book of these really artistic photos celebrating women's natural hair.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool, fine, whatever. Um, and then the massage, that was 100% his planting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The start of the journey. When um was he wealthy?
No.
Okay, so but he was someone giving you attention, positive attention, goals,
Yep. Yep.
all the things you craved as a young
Yeah.
person.
As a young person who had been not really loved properly,
Yeah.
like he was offering.
And he was also a home.
He was also a home.
Yeah.
Yep. You know. So it all seemed like a great idea at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't help that I found out I was pregnant,
Okay.
and I ended up miscarrying the first one, and then very quickly fell pregnant again.
When you miscarried, was it a baby you were intending to have?
No,
Okay.
no, it was very up in the air at the time because didn't know who the father was exactly.
Okay. Yep.
Young, dumb, 18. Um, and it was more than likely the ex that had been cheating on me.
Right.
So it was kind of like, I don't really want to keep it, but I also do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The conflict, the inner conflict for every pregnant woman, I'm imagining, even if they're in a good relationship, it's just
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
especially when you're young.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong. So that decision was taken out of your hands.
Yeah.
Kind of fortunately, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it was taken out of my hands.
Yeah.
And
then you fell pregnant again.
Then I fell pregnant again, and this time to my abuser.
Yeah.
And at this time, I was like, no, I would like to keep this. Like, I think I'm ready to be a mum.
And you're in a relationship with the dad.
Stable relation. I thought stable relationship, and money was coming in with the massaging. And from what I could tell, his clothing, like we were making progress on that. We had been to dressmakers. I had done designs. They'd made stock for us.
Okay.
So I was like, everything looks normal.
So with the massage, did you do any training, or you kind of just you just winged it, or what? Are we talking like a legitimate massage? Are we talking a sexual massage?
A sexual massage.
Okay.
A sexual massage. So I think it was maybe the first or second time that I'd been to his place. And I decided that doing massage isn't a big deal. And I was like, how do you do it? And so he gave me a massage. And then he was like, usually this is when they would turn over and you would give them a happy ending. And I wasn't really looking for that at the time. But we were talking about my body because he was doing the hair photography thing. And I was telling him how I was really insecure with my nipples. And he was like, what do you mean? Show me. So I did. And then he's like, oh, pretty sure we didn't have full sex that time, but he did try to like get me to orgasm and everything. So that obviously helps concrete the whole thing into it.
Yep.
And then it was the training that I had was like, this is how you check to make sure that there's no visible diseases or anything on it. It's clean.
Yeah.
And this is what they're allowed to touch and not allowed to touch on me.
Yep.
That was the training.
So you did that voluntarily, even though like he obviously planted the idea, you did it voluntarily.
Yeah.
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 How did you find doing your first random person?
I don't remember it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember it. I remember like the only concern for me was the clock, because I was like, how long is this? How long do I have to keep massaging for? When do I tell him to turn over?
Yeah.
Is the clock almost done yet? That was the main thing on my mind.
Yeah. So the procedure of it. And yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of boxes being ticked for you. Like you said, your clothing line it's visible. It's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not imaginary. You're earning money through the massage. When you said he did the massage or he was getting phone calls, was he massaging?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was also doing it.
Okay.
And that's kind of why I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't me doing it. He was also doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I think it was probably a couple months it was during the second pregnancy, because
phone just fell down.
Poltergeist. It was during the second pregnancy, and he said to me, we need to make 10 grand. And if we can make 10 grand to pay this thing, then you can keep the baby.
Okay.
And I wasn't making enough doing massages. So I was like, how do we get there? He was like, you do full service. So that was when I started doing full service.
So when he said that, do you remember how you was that a leap?
It was a leap.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a leap, because I didn't ever think that I'd be going down that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also seemed logical.
Yeah.
I had already, like, coming out of school, I'd already been making jokes that I was going to go work at the Velvet Cigar, which is a gentleman's club in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Because I associated positive male attention with care and affection.
Yep.
And
Yeah. So when he's asked you to go full service, did he need to convince you?
It didn't take much convincing, because at the time I was like, 10 grand, that's not much.
You could see the positives.
I could see that there was going to be an end goal. I could see that it was a means to an end, and it wasn't supposed to go for as long as it did.
Yep.
And when I started doing the full service and I was getting a lot of clients, that's when he stopped massaging. And he was like, I'm going to focus on building these businesses so that you can retire and raise the child.
Yep. Okay. So excuse me. When did it become something you didn't want to do?
It was probably a year or two after that.
Okay.
Was
it simply a matter of the money was good?
The money was good. I thought the money was good. Of course, I wasn't seeing any of it.
Yeah.
And
So he organised the bookings, he organised everything?
he organized all of the advertising and all of that. He organized the prices, what the extras and how much they cost were, what kind of photos, the write-up, all of that. All I had to do was answer the phone, take the bookings, and do the bookings.
Okay.
Because obviously you're ringing up for a chick, you don't want to go straight to the phone.
Yeah. Did you have any say in any of those things? The money, the services, the extras?
I was able to say, I won't do this particular extra, I won't do that particular extra. But at the same time, he was also like, you should do this extra because it will get easier money.
Yeah. Yeah. So he knew how to persuade you to do things you didn't want to do, but it wasn't hard to do.
Yeah.
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 That makes sense. Okay. So did you enjoy it that first year or so?
I enjoyed seeing the money.
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
So seeing the fruits of your money, you didn't see the money, but he had the money and you saw the benefits of that.
Yeah. You know, I would see that when we went to do groceries, we didn't have to like limit what we were getting.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get chocolate, I could get chocolate.
Yeah.
If we were out in a shopping center and I saw a pretty dress, I could get the pretty dress. And in the beginning, particularly after we started going to Sydney, the deal was if I made more than $1,000 in a day, then I would get $100 in my pocket. And then the next $1,000, I'd get another $100 after in my pocket.
Yep.
So it was really like me, I wanted to try and hit that $1,100 mark because then I would get pocket money.
Yeah.
And that was 4 or 5 clients in a day.
Yeah. So you were pregnant when you started sex work?
I was, yeah.
Okay. What happened there?
I made the 10 grand and
Which was the agreement to have the baby.
which was the agreement to have the baby. And then he convinced me that it was not the right time and that we could not afford for me to stop working. And so we terminated.
Yeah. Do you think there was ever a time when he wanted to have the baby? And like, do you think just the fact that you earned shitloads of money kind of just made that decision for him?
Yeah, no matter what he said to me, I've come to realize he never wanted that baby.
Okay.
It was not a part of his plan, and it was not something that he wanted and would never want.
Okay.
Even though he, like, the reason it went on for so long is because he dangled that carrot that we just need to make this, we need to get these businesses working, and then we can have that family you want. You can have that baby that you missed out on. And that is what I clung to. So,
Yeah. He knew your currency.
Yeah.
So you had a termination?
On my 20th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then I was straight back to seeing clients 3 days later.
How did the termination affect you in the short term?
I had massive hemorrhaging. We actually had to go to emergency because I'd woken up one morning with quite a lot of clotting.
Yeah.
I was incredibly tired,
This was in the day where it had to be a surgical abortion or like a medical abortion. It wasn't a pill, was it?
No. This was a medical, and it was at 20 weeks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because was it 20 or 12? I get confused with numbers. It had a 2 in it. And it was like right at the point before it went, they couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, which I think is like is in the 20s.
Yeah. So, incredibly sore. The mental toll that it took on me was far more than the physical toll.
Yeah.
And my entire life, I'd been complaining of health concerns and nothing being done about it.
Yeah.
So I've got chronic pain, and I've had chronic pain as long as I can remember. And I remember complaining to my mum about my back and my knees before I'd hit high school. None of those things, just never looked into it.
Just went straight through to the keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any kind of physical pain that I was in or any kind of physical discomfort I was in, I was used to just, it's fine, you're not dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you had the abortion, was it something that did you go into it willingly, or was it like, as in, were you really conflicted once you've made the decision to have it? Is it something you kind of did against your own will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to. I wanted to do anything I could to not have to do that.
Which is why you did the sex work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically you became a prostitute to have this baby.
Yeah.
And then you were convinced that that wasn't the right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. How has that miscarriage affected you? And we're obviously going to skip a lot of stuff, but has it had a long-term effect?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of difficulty being around children. I have a lot of difficulty being around pregnant people. I have a lot of difficulty discussing parenthood and all of it. And since I've been in Townsville, a lot of people think it's because I hate children.
Yeah.
And that's usually just the easiest thing for me to be like, yeah, that's why.
Don't have to explain
I
anything.
don't have to explain anything.
Yeah.
In actual fact, every time I see a young child, my heart is breaking.
Yeah.
And I just can't. And prior to the hysterectomy, I was like, I'm not going to have kids because I am so traumatized that it just would not do well for my mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where are we at the moment? Like location wise?
Location wise, we're still in Brisbane.
Okay. So you ended up moving to Sydney?
Yeah. So while we were in Brisbane in the units that we were living in, he had managed to get another girl into doing sex work.
Okay. So he's now becoming an official pimp.
He's now becoming an official pimp. And
was sex work legal when you started?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was decriminalized. There's still a lot of bylaws and everything,
Yeah.
which we were trying to make sure we followed all the rules.
And were you did out calls? So you went to people's places or in calls or both? Okay, right.
Yeah, we did both.
Yeah.
And so we did that for a little while, and then he had this other girl come in and she would get a hotel room in the city. And I was like, why does she get to charge more than I get to charge? And he was saying that there was something about her age. Mind you, I'm 19 at this point, like 19, 20. And he was like,
as in she was younger?
Yeah, she was 18.
Okay, right. So that 1 year made a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And because her location was in the city.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then, so he had 2 preteen kids when I met him, and they were coming over to visit like once a fortnight.
Okay.
And they'd stay for the weekend.
So were you his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it became very difficult to pack up the room that we worked in to allow the children to be in there.
Yeah, right.
And so we made the decision that we would try going down to Sydney. And so we drove down, had a hotel room booked. We were only going to stay there 2 weeks initially, ended up staying there for 4 weeks. And then we came back. And it worked really well. I made a lot of money while I was in Sydney. And we decided that if we kept going to Sydney to work, we could come home to Brisbane. He could spend time with his kids and I could rest.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be the big thing. So we moved out of the unit. We got a house and we were going between Sydney and Brisbane. We would spend maybe a month or 2 down there and then come back up.
Yeah.
And I think that went on for a year before we decided to get a permanent location in Sydney.
Okay. Now, most people, when they think of sex work or prostitution, they think of drugs, they think of alcohol, They think of the really dark, deep, seedy side of things.
Yeah.
Was there drugs and alcohol?
No, no. I was stone cold sober for all of it.
Yeah.
There was, so my abuser was sober. He had problems with alcohol in the past and addictions in the past. So he was like, none of that.
Yeah, right.
Not allowed any drink, no drugs. If a client sounds like they've had too much to drink, we're not doing that job.
Yep.
That was supposed to be the rule. If I was doing an extended booking, like, something like 4 or 5 hours longer, it would be, I could have one drink to be social with the client, and then it was just soft drinks.
Yep.
And making sure that they weren't tipsy or drunk, because he had drilled such a fear of danger into me. Like, if they're on drugs, they're going to get raped.
Yep.
If they're drinking, you're going to be killed. Like, so
Yep.
it was none of that. No drugs, no alcohol.
Did you experience violence anyway from your clients?
No.
Okay. So you're lucky? You'd count yourself lucky?
I'd count myself lucky in that I didn't have anything violent. However, my boundaries were pushed quite a lot of the time.
Okay. Yeah.
There were several clients that I was like, no, I need you to stop, and they wouldn't stop, and they kept going.
Okay. Which is its own type of violence.
Which is its own type of violence.
Yeah.
Nothing that would leave marks, nothing like that. But
yeah. So you weren't physically hit or threatened or anything?
Yeah.
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 Did you receive the money from the clients?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And basically it went in one hand and straight to him?
Straight out the other hand.
Okay.
So when I worked out of the place that we were living in, he would actually be in the other room.
Yep.
And so as soon as they came in, I got the money. They jumped in the shower, went to the other room, gave the money to him. So it was just the passing of it in my hands. That was all I saw of it.
And you didn't get a percentage. You didn't get anything. He bought you the things you wanted. What about that $1,000 thing?
Yeah, only if I hit that $1,000.
So that was an ongoing thing?
It was ongoing for less than 12 months.
Okay.
And then he was like, I need to keep all of this money to pay all of these people that were building websites for him and doing all of this stuff. And he's like, just keep a tally, and
right,
I'll owe it.
So
to
in
you.
theory, he was giving it to you, but he was taking it away.
Yeah.
And you're so caught up, you're not realizing this.
Yeah. I was still like, oh no, everything's fine. Like, I can see money's coming in. I can see that he's trying to do work. Like, surely he'll give it back to me at some point. And we would go out to nice restaurants. If I'm like, I want new clothes, we'd go out and we'd buy new clothes.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to keep any of the money.
But he was still filling a need that an itch that you needed scratching.
Yeah, like I was still being taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was filling a requirement that you hadn't had previous to that. So how did you keep yourself safe from things like STDs and that sort of thing? Did you have checks?
Yep. As soon as they came out of the shower, give it a good look over.
Okay. What about your own health checks? Did you get regular checks?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not get regular checks. And the only time I got checks were when condoms broke.
Okay.
Because he didn't trust Western medicine.
Right.
And so after the termination, I didn't have any kind of medical attention at all.
Okay.
We'd been to a GP and they had picked up that my thyroid was enlarged, done some tests, and they were like, you need to go on the medication, or you can have surgery, or you can have it the radioactive iodine. And he was like, no, you're not doing any of that. It's just going to fuck up your body. So no. And that was...
You were a commodity.
Yeah. So that was the last time I went and saw a doctor.
Okay.
And then the only time I saw doctors after that was when the condom broke, or I became far too sick to work.
Yeah.
And the only time it reached that point was when I had tonsillitis and my throat had completely closed up. I got tonsillitis every year. I
Yeah.
got so sick every year.
Yeah.
And I still had to work through all of it.
Tonsillitis sucks.
It's terrible.
I haven't had it for a while, but I used to get it quite regularly, and it's just, it's so painful. It's so horrible, and I can't imagine trying to fake sex work while because the client doesn't need to know that.
Client doesn't need to know that. No, there were times when we went down to Canberra, I would always get sick when I went down to Canberra. And there was one day I was vomiting because I was so unwell. And he's like, you need to clean yourself up. Your client's here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. And at the time, did you know that was wrong, or was it something you only realised in retrospect?
At the time, I thought it was unfair.
Okay.
But I didn't have anything else to compare it to.
Yes.
So I was like, this is just what you do.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a normal job and you're sick, you still have to go to work.
Yeah.
So
that's your version of a normal job.
That was my version.
That was your normality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're a couple of years in. What has he done as far as, or what are you allowed to do as far as contact with your family or friends outside of him?
I had very few friends. Actually, I had no friends. I'd gotten into a disagreement with one of my high school friends, and that was the last friendship that I had in contact and maintained. My mother, I spoke to my mother every week. Wasn't allowed to tell her what was happening.
Okay, so the family were not aware at this point.
No, nobody knew.
What did they think was happening?
They thought that we were doing business meetings for the clothing and for these websites that he was building, because he was building, I don't even know if I'll remember all the different businesses. We had the clothing business. We had a modeling agency. We had a talent agency for musicians.
And were they legitimate businesses?
Yeah.
Like they were real?
Yeah, like we had photographers. We did we shot music videos for some of the bands that we represented. I was doing costume designs for the musicians.
So he was an entrepreneur. He was a smart man.
Yeah, he was a very smart man. He was, as well as the benign businesses, he was also building platforms to classified platforms for sex work, advertising.
So he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay. So the family just think you're, living your life.
Yeah.
No friends. Did you realize, when did it become an issue for you? Like, what did you realize during this process?
It started becoming an issue for me when we moved entirely to Sydney. So it took 3 years for us to move entirely to Sydney. And at that time we had a house in Brisbane and an apartment in Sydney.
Yeah.
And my first dog was in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So we were paying for a house, a huge house. It was like $800 a week.
Yeah.
We were paying,
back then was a shit ton.
It was a shit ton.
Yeah.
We were paying so much money just so that my dog could live in the house.
A kennel. Yep.
And
but that was his way of keeping the hooks in you.
Yeah. So then we got a house in Sydney, and we got a separate apartment in the city to work in.
Okay.
At this point, we had, I think, another 3 girls working with in Sydney. And
so was this a fully registered, was the sex work a fully registered business?
It was, so it wasn't like a registered business, because so the business names were registered.
Yeah. But it wasn't a brothel.
It wasn't a brothel. No, no. It was an agency.
Yeah.
So, although it kind of blurs the line because we would get the phone calls, and if the client wanted to do an in-call, they would just come use the apartment in the city.
Yeah.
But I was the only person waiting in that room all day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were there just in case.
Yeah.
So you didn't necessarily have a booking. You were there in case there was one. So you went to work every day.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How long was a work day?
12 hours.
Yeah.
So I would go in there for a 9 o'clock start.
In the morning?
In the morning. And I would not get picked up until 9 o'clock at night.
Okay. That actually surprises me, those hours. I would have much more thought it would kind of be like a 2 p.m. till 2 a.m. kind of.
But we continued taking bookings until about 1 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
So from 9 till 1, they were out calls only.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could have bloody long days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How did you physically hold up to, because, I mean, sex is demanding, physically demanding, and you're doing 4 or 5 a day?
Yeah. 4 or 5 a day on a relatively quiet.
Okay. So what would be a monster day?
I was regularly seeing 10 people and upwards.
Yeah, right.
I think the most that I saw in a day was 12.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
Were there repeat customers?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever develop any sort of relationship with these clients in Sydney?
No.
No. What I don't mean a romantic relationship. Did you become friendly with them? Was it,
No.
Yeah.
No. Because he was in the other room.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He could hear me.
Okay.
And if I ever sounded like I was having too much fun, if I was laughing too much, anything like that, I would get torn to shreds at the end of the booking.
Okay. So you couldn't enjoy yourself.
I could not enjoy myself.
Could you enjoy? This is a weird question to ask, but I guarantee I'm not the only one to ask. Did you enjoy sex with some clients?
No.
Or was it always a job?
It was a job.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't allow myself to enjoy any of it, knowing that if I made any noises, or even if I came once the client had left, if I come into the room and I looked happy, something was wrong.
Yeah, right.
So it was not enjoy it, can't enjoy any of it. It is just work.
Okay. Were you expected to pretend to enjoy it? Like, as in, so the client thought you were enjoying it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you kind of had to distinguish between what your partner thought was happening versus what the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
a fine line.
Very fine line. And when I did out calls, it was much easier because
he wasn't there.
He wasn't there. He wasn't listening. I could actually relax and enjoy the company.
Yeah.
So they were generally nicer.
I can't imagine that. Yes, I imagine you'd get some assholes and you'd get some people that treat you like dirt. But I imagine you get some nice humans too. Some nice people.
Yeah. 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 And if they were too generous with me, I was doing something wrong. I was breaking. So
okay. So if you were paid extra,
yeah,
would you know how much you were meant to collect?
Yes.
So if they, I don't know, picking figures out the air. Let's say the arrangement was a $200 thing. If they gave you $300, you wouldn't be able to pocket. Like, you wouldn't have thought to yourself to pocket that 100.
No.
Never crossed your mind.
Never crossed my mind. It did not. It didn't cross my mind until I was probably 2 years out from leaving, like 2 years out from escaping.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it was a good 6 years in before I was like, I need to start pocketing something.
You kind of started to build an out.
Yeah, well, not even an out. So after we'd been in Sydney for a while, and the work was drying up, we then started going on tour to all of the capital cities in the country. So that would entail us spending like 4 or 5 days per city. And
with pre-book? pre-bookings?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Nope. Not necessarily pre-booked. If I got pre-bookings, amazing. But 50% of the time they would end up cancelling on the day anyway.
Okay.
So he would come with me. We would travel together. And then we got to a point where there was, I think, maybe a dozen girls working with us.
Wow.
And so we would take one of them with us. And then it got to the point where he wanted to stay home to look after the dogs, to look after the businesses, to look after the apartment. And so he would send me then with someone else.
Okay.
And it was only at that point that I was like, I need to start taking some of this money because otherwise I have no food and I have
Oh, so when you were sent away, you weren't given any money?
no,
Right.
no. I was expected that he knew what bookings I had.
Yeah.
And he knew what money should have been collected.
And you were accountable for every dollar.
I was accountable for every single dollar.
And food wasn't part of that.
Food wasn't part of that. And he would send me away. I think I would spend 6 months north and then I would spend 6 months south. And I would stop at home between those two places. So I was only stopping at home for like 4 days every 6 months for like 3 years, 3 years.
So he still controlled you even though you weren't physically with him for you're going 6 months north, 6 months south. You
Yeah.
weren't with him, but he still owned everything you did.
Yeah. Yeah. There would be phone calls all the time, text messages. He would know, so he'd be like, you have to go to the bank today. This is how much you should be depositing because this is how much you should have made.
Yeah.
And the bank is this far away. It's going to take you this long to walk.
Yeah, right.
And if I'm not back in the calculated amount of time, he's like, where are you? What are you doing? Why aren't you taking bookings? Where are you answering phone call? So even when I wasn't with him, when he wasn't there was a constant pseudo surveillance
Yeah.
on me.
When he was asking these questions or kind of getting you to account for yourself, was he aggressive with his words or was it very subtle or?
No. It carried that narcissistic abuse spiral, that cycle. So he would get really shitty with me and then he'd apologize and love bomb.
Yep.
And then it would happen again. And it just kept going and going and going.
The abuse, yeah, very much the abuse spiral.
Yeah.
Sorry, here's flowers, won't happen again.
Yeah.
Happens again, here's more flowers. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But no flowers.
Yeah.
No flowers.
Were you still getting benefit from your relationship at that time? Do you think it was still filling a hole or was it just, you just didn't know anything else?
By the time we reached the 6-year mark, I very firmly believed that there was no other choice for me.
Okay, yeah, that was just your lot in life.
That was my lot in life. I wasn't going to get out of doing it. This is just where it was going to be.
Were you still sexually active with him?
No.
Okay, so
No.
did that stop early in the piece with the sex work?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you were boyfriend, girlfriend purely for an accounting purpose for him?
Yep.
But for you, he still filled that bit that you needed.
Yeah.
And you were having sex with other people.
I was having sex with a whole bunch of other people. And, if I tried to initiate anything with him, he'd be like, oh, I'm not feeling well. I've got too much work to do.
So for a long time, you never had sex for fun.
Yeah.
So you said around 6 years. What changed at 6 years?
So at 6 years, I saw we had 12 people on the books and we'd had another handful that had come and gone. And every time they came over, to discuss working, he would take them for training. And they would be up there for a couple of hours. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't like this. As a girlfriend, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And when I talked to him about it, completely blew me off. He was like, well, how else are they going to know what to do? Like, I've got to do this with them.
It's part of my job.
Part of my job.
Yeah.
Like, okay then. And then
He could explain his way out of everything?
100%. Like, I was still calculating how much money he was supposed to be giving me off that $1,000.
Yeah.
And it had reached something like $3,000 or $4,000 that he owed me.
Yeah.
And I had said, I want to use that to go to this festival in the States because this band that I really, really love is playing at this festival. And you get to dress up in fairy costume. Like, it's a masquerade ball. I want to go. And so I booked my hotel because I didn't have to pay for it up front.
So he said you could do it?
He said I could do it.
Okay, yeah.
Booked my hotel, and then I was like, okay, I need that money so that I can book my flights. And he was like, oh, you can't go. Actually, you can't go. I need you here. You can't take the time off for that. I know.
Yeah.
So then I had organized with someone else who was our videographer, not related to sex work in any capacity, did not know I was doing sex work.
Okay.
But I'd arranged.
So he was good at siloing all his businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he had allowed me to develop a friendship with this person. And so we had decided we were going to go to a medieval fair in Sydney because that's much more achievable than going overseas. And it was getting closer and closer. And he sent me to Perth, the other side of the country.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't stop.
So he'd dangle freedom in front of you where you could do things you want. As you said, he was always about the carrot.
Yeah, it was always about.
And then he'd take it away at the last minute.
Yeah. And when those two events happened, I was like, this is my life. I'm never going to be able to do anything else. This is my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd been working 364 days of the year.
Like, that much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had Christmas off.
Yeah.
Because we spent it with his kids.
Okay.
Like, it had gotten to the point that even if his kids were visiting, he would still send me to the apartment in the city to go to work.
So you're earning big bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of other girls earning big bucks. So I'm making an assumption that he's pretty damn wealthy.
You would think he was pretty damn wealthy.
That was going to be my question. Was there any signs of this wealth?
No.
Apart from the fact that you had 2 apartments.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we had this big, gorgeous house in Sydney that we were paying like over $1,000 a weekend.
Yeah.
We had an apartment in the city that was close to $1,000.
Yeah.
But the car we had was like one of those, can't get good credit. That's okay. We'll finance you. It was one of those car places.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was our car.
Yeah.
All of the...
So it's not Ferraris and Lamborghinis, no. which is he's kind of earning that. You would think the turnover is.
Yeah. Yeah. All the furniture in the house, all bought off secondhand, off eBay.
Okay. Where do you think the money was?
To this day, I still don't know.
Yeah.
Because even though he did, like, we had an IT guy building us websites, and like, obviously money was there, I still don't know what it went to.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea. I can't fathom it. I'm like, I did the calculations. I made around $3 million in that time, and I have no idea where that money went.
Yeah, you weren't living a $3 million existence.
I was not living a $3 million existence. Absolutely not.
And it's not like he had a life away from you. Well, I guess he did for a while when you were doing up and down, traveling, but he didn't have He didn't have another house or that you were aware of anyway.
No, because he would spend pretty much the entire day in the office in the house in Sydney.
Yeah.
That's where he was.
Yeah. So potentially there's still money stored away somewhere.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I've got no idea where, because when I escaped, I had 150K in debt in my name
What was the debt from?
from him taking out loans
Under your name.
under my name, credit
Okay.
cards. They send you you've been pre-approved in the mail. And
Yep.
He's like, yep, sign it.
But you never saw a credit card in your life, I'm imagining.
I had the credit cards on me to pay for the hotel room
Okay.
and to pay for the ads.
But you wouldn't have dared use it for something fun.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And yeah, like I'm still amazed that I let him take out so much money in my name and then never pay it back. And he was 100% on the conspiracy bandwagon.
Yeah.
You hear the sovereign citizens? You heard of?
Yes.
That's why he thought he didn't have to pay any of the money back,
Right.
except he was bankrupt.
There's some wackos out there for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the rules, what is it? The two different types of laws,
I still don't understand it.
maritime law and common law and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I still don't understand it.
No.
But yeah, like he was certain that he didn't have to pay any money back.
So was he was he someone who tried to take you along on that type of journey with the anti-medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did he do other things of like coercion that you wouldn't have known at the time? It's one of those things you look back and realize.
Yeah. 100%. Definitely. There was he learned about cognitive behavior therapy, CBT.
Yeah.
And
Which is such a powerful tool.
such a powerful tool.
So for those that don't know, cognitive behavior therapy is something commonly used in psychology, and it's basically about changing thought processes. So challenging and changing pre-existing thought processes.
Yep. So he used the skills that he learned from that to further manipulate me. We had hypnosis tracks that would play all night long, and these meditations that I had to do all hours of the day. Yeah, EFT tapping. So he would like get me to do the EFT tapping routine, and he would tell me the thoughts that I was supposed to be having in my head during all of this. So all of this conditioning and brainwashing with all of these psychological tools, he was still controlling the input
Yep.
that he wanted me to have.
So he was a cult leader, but for you.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else? Was there any signs of anyone else being treated this way?
Not really. Most of the time, we would talk about these things with our friends, the people that we knew.
Yeah.
And be like, herbal medicine's really handy and all of this kind of stuff. But the 1% society being run by reptilians, he didn't talk about that to anybody else.
Yeah.
Joining the Rosicrucian order, which is another cult. Didn't talk about that to anybody else. The hypnosis, he suggested hypnosis to a few of the other girls that worked because he was always like, you've got to lose weight. He was constantly on me about my weight, which was not new to me because my mother was constantly on me about my weight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was mostly directed just at me and him and how it affected our relationship. So instead of going to the doctors for my thyroid, I would go to a Chinese herbalist, get acupuncture, go get bark flower remedies.
Yeah.
Do crystal meditations under pyramids and stuff.
Yeah. So he was a very clever man of the way he did. But you don't think there was another you hidden, multiple versions of you.
No.
It was just, yeah.
Because he had me so indoctrinated that I did whatever he asked me to anyway.
Yep.
So he used my identity and my photos and my name to lure in other women. And he would come up to me and he's like, I need you to call this person. This is their name. You've been talking to them for a few weeks now on OkCupid. And so just say hi to them and then tell them that you're passing the phone on to me.
Yeah.
I've never spoken to these people before in my life.
So he's pretending to be you, and
Yeah.
then you're closing the deal, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So when did we? Yeah, so we've stayed in Sydney. We're at 6 years. You kind of starting to have. Well, you kind of resigned to this as your life.
Mm.
Where does it change? Where does it? What happens?
It changed when two things happened. One, I met Liam, and I met him as a client.
In Sydney?
This was in Cairns.
Okay. Oh, so on one of your northern trips.
On one of my northern trips.
Yeah.
I met him, and within two appointments, he could see what was going on. And so he was like, do you realize that you're in an abusive cycle? And I was like, no. Whatever. And at the same time, we had an associate that we had taken a lease of an apartment from. So Ben, I think his name was, he had an apartment in Sydney, and then he wanted to break the lease, and we took it over. And he was very, very wealthy, like lived in very swanky buildings, dressed in designer. This is the lifestyle that I should have been living.
Yeah.
The money that I was making.
Yeah.
And he was like, we've got hold of these money printing machines. And he showed us one of the forgeries.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell the difference. So he's like, we need you to, if you give us 25K, you'll get 150K.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I don't know about this. This seems, I don't know about
this. Is crossing a line of some pretty serious federal crimes.
Yeah. Anyway, he was like, no, it's fine because the law is all fucked up with the sovereign citizen crap. And he managed to also convince two other girls to put money in.
Yeah. Right. And
so we put money in, and then of course the guy completely disappears.
Yeah. So he got scammed.
And when it became abundantly clear that this money was just gone, I was like, I'm going to die doing this. I'm never going to have that baby, and I'm going to die somewhere along the line. This is going to kill me.
Yep. So you kind of reached the point where you knew this was not going to have a happy outcome.
Yeah. Okay. And it was either going to be at the hands of a client, although I had very little fear of that.
Yeah.
Or I was going to catch some horrible disease that I would not be able to recover from.
Yeah.
From a client. Or I would take my own life, or he would eventually make good on that threat to beat me.
So he threatened to beat you, but he didn't. Yeah. So there was a lot of verbal violence. Was there physical violence?
No.
Yeah. So he held it over you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, if you were a man, I'd beat the living crap out of you all the time.
Yeah.
The only thing that I thought was saving me was the fact that I was a woman. Like, I'd gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't think he doesn't love me. Because for so many years, people were like, he's your pimp. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. And then I was like.
Did he tell you he loved you?
Yeah.
Yep.
All day. Multiple times a day.
Yep.
And he'd be like.
Ongoing?
Yeah.
Not just at the beginning?
Not just at the beginning.
Yeah.
Ongoing.
Yeah.
And he would always say that it's so rare for couples to continually tell each other that they love them. So, like, even years into the relationship. So I was like, oh, he loves me. He
Yeah.
keeps telling me.
The words tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the action said
Action.
But yeah, the old abuse cycle that when you're in the middle of it, you just don't realise.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Liam.
Mhm.
So Liam, on his second time meeting you as a client, has said to you, yeah, things aren't right for you.
Yep.
Where does it go from there?
So I'm
imagining you're unable to contact your clients outside of your abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There had been times in the past where clients had, and regular clients had reached out to me just to have a quick hello.
Yeah.
And because he was always, who's texting? What's that text? Is that a book?
Mm.
And I'd be like, oh no, it's just da 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 da. He would take the phone and he would just lay into them, and then I would never see them and hear from them again.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So there was not opportunity for that.
Yeah.
And so I saw Liam in Cairns, and then I saw him in Townsville.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, he's like, something's not right. He's like, I think you're in an abusive relationship. And I was like, no, no. And then he would send me flowers directly to the hotels that I was staying at
Your abuser?
No, Liam.
Liam, okay.
Liam. And I told him about it once. So my abuser's name is Brad.
Okay.
I told him about it once, and he was like, well, this person, he got really cranky. Why is he sending you flowers? And then I didn't tell him about all of the other communication that we were having.
Yeah.
And then I never told him again about any of the flowers.
That must have been scary, starting to have this deliberate communication that you knew was against what you're allowed to do. So you're rebelling.
Yeah.
You're committing a quasi illegal act by talking to this guy.
Oh yeah.
That must have been really scary.
It was terrifying, and I had been caught out once before.
Yeah.
Because I was writing, I'd gotten onto like writers' forums and communities, and I met someone while I was in Melbourne who was another writer, and we just wanted to have a quick hi. How are you? Nice to put a face to the name. Of course, I kept the fact that I was communicating with other people on these forums secret, and we were on our way back from Melbourne to Sydney, and I was asleep in the car, and he got my phone and went through the messages and found out that I had gone to coffee with someone. And he grabbed my hair. And this is the only time he really got physical. But he grabbed my hair and like pulled me and pushed me against the car door.
While you were asleep. So he's woken you up.
Yeah, he's woken me up. And he's like pounding on the door and on the steering wheel. And I was just trying to make myself as small as possible against that door. And that's when I knew I was going to be in real danger.
Yep.
And so any kind of communication I had beyond clients talking had to be done so carefully, clandestine, second phone, like deleting everything every day.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
It was dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
But Liam would come to see me. He would visit me. He came down to Tasmania to visit me.
When he knew you were on a southern run. Yeah, right.
So he flew down to Tasmania, and he very quickly started booking me for multiple days in a row.
Okay.
Because if I was with him, I wasn't working. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't having to deal with anybody else.
Yeah.
Like
so Liam had some money behind him.
Yeah. And so he was paying, and at this point, I'd become so depressed about the whole thing. I was still trying to do all of the work, but I was not getting as many bookings as I used to get. Partly because I could not remain 23 for 5 years.
Yeah.
But so Brad was dropping my prices down lower and lower and lower and lower and lower because I wasn't getting work.
Yep.
To the point where I was being paid $100 for an appointment.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Liam would book these days out, and because he was desperate for money, Brad would let him book it for much less than what it would normally be.
Yeah. And he never twigged on to a relationship with Liam that was, he did?
He did.
Okay.
He did. He absolutely hated it and would carry on about it all the time, but nobody else was booking me.
So money talks.
Money was talking.
Right. So even though he was threatened by Liam, the fact that Liam was paying allowed it to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And so then I would come back to Townsville more often because Liam would book me more often. And then it turned into, well, he'll book me for so many hours, but I'd actually spend the whole day there with him.
Yep.
And stay there at night. And
I suppose the fact that you weren't getting many other bookings allowed that became possible.
Yeah.
So really, this isn't something that would have even been possible 5 years earlier.
No.
Because you wouldn't have had the time.
No.
You were too accountable for every minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The only way that I was able to develop that relationship with Liam was because he was no longer traveling with me anymore.
Yeah.
And the girl that was with me at the time, didn't like him, didn't like Brad.
Okay.
So she was like, yeah, I agree with Liam. We need to get you out of this relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So did Liam have romantic feelings for you?
Yes.
He developed them pretty quick?
Yeah. And
did you have them for him?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
He was a positive version of life for you?
He showed me what I should expect from people.
Yep.
Because he showed
your bar was very low.
My bar was like subfloor.
Yeah.
But he showed me what it to be cared for and to be nurtured and to be loved and to not have transactional conditional love.
Yep.
Yeah.
How old was Liam when you two, what was the age difference?
So I was 26.
Yeah.
And I think he was like 52.
Okay.
So still a considerable age difference.
Yeah.
He is older than Brad, but the age didn't matter to me because I'd been sleeping with men all the way up to 90.
Yes.
Age was a number.
Yeah.
What mattered more is that he truly cared for me.
Yeah.
And he truly wanted to see me in a better life.
Yeah. And the fact that he was paying for time for you, kind of, some people might see that as a really negative thing, but he was gaining no benefit except your company. Did you, and I'm imagining when it was a repeat thing, so you wouldn't necessarily be having sex at every booking. It was just more the ability to spend time together.
Yeah, I think we didn't actually have sex until like the fourth or fifth booking.
Yeah, right.
And that never happened.
Okay.
Very rarely do I come out of a booking not having slept with someone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how did he build you up enough to make some decisions?
He took me to Badara Island.
Yeah. Really
fancy, exclusive island out on the Great Barrier Reef with no phone reception.
Yeah. True freedom.
True freedom. And bless his heart, even though I was with Liam, I still had to answer the agency phone.
Okay.
So I still had to take bookings for other girls.
Yeah.
And when we got to Mission Beach and I discovered there was no phone reception, we went and got a Telstra phone from the post office because my phone was blowing up.
Yeah.
I was already in a boiling pot for going somewhere that had a lack of reception. So I had to get another phone. And then it still didn't work on Badara Island anyway.
Yep.
And when I got back, we were there for 2 days. When I got back, oh my God, the hell that I had to pay.
Yep.
I was so much, like, he was ready to fly up.
So that's the first time in your entire adult life that you haven't been accountable to someone, to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine his mindset just freaking the fuck out when you know, and you having an experience that you've never really had of not being answerable to him for those 48 hours.
Yeah.
It must have been mind-blowing.
It was
it scary? Uncomfortable?
It was scary before we got to the island.
Yep.
And I was terrified when we got back.
I can imagine. I can only imagine the anxiety coming back knowing the shit show that's about to start.
Yeah. And but it was so impactful because it was literally the first time that I didn't have phone calls.
Yeah.
Like I would have nightmares where I would be taking phone calls in my sleep. Like Brad had told me multiple times I was taking bookings in my sleep.
Yeah.
I was terrified of the phone.
Yeah.
And to have time where I didn't have to worry about it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. So you've had these 2 days. Obviously, Brad's lost his shit over the phone. Where did you go next? What happened?
I think I went down to. We went down south, and
we, as in you and Liam, or you and
me and the other girl.
Oh yeah, yep.
We'd gone down south. Had a quick stop at home. Had a big blow up, obviously, before we gotten home. So when I was at home, all the love bombing.
Yep.
All the love bombing, and then went down south. And we were in Tasmania, and we were supposed to be going from one of the cities on Launceston.
Yeah.
Launceston. We were supposed to go from Launceston to Hobart.
Yep.
And I had just gotten to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. I could not do it anymore. I started drinking.
Okay.
And I was just downing bottles.
And the funny thing is, this entire time, if you wanted to drink, you had the time and ability because you weren't with him.
Yeah.
So should you have wanted to, you could have.
Yeah.
This was your point where you said, fuck it.
Yeah. This was the point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And then when we were due to go to Hobart, I got a call the day before to say, from the accommodation, to say, we're not honouring your booking. We've been told you do sex work.
Okay.
So I'm like,
did that happen often?
No. The first time it had happened.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I was then freaking out because I've got nowhere to go next. I've got no money to pay for the hotel I'm currently in.
Yeah.
No money to pay for flights to go anywhere else. Just completely stuck. And Brad down my neck about the fact that I wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
So Liam paid for the hotel in Tasmania, paid for plane tickets to get us back to Sydney.
Yeah.
As soon as I got back to Sydney, love bombed again.
Yep.
And 3 days later, up to Brisbane. And
so did he see he was losing you?
I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he did. Because one of the terrifying things that happened was I used to hold his hand at night when I was asleep. I didn't realize I was doing this until he told me. And he started saying that I had stopped holding his hand at night.
Mm.
And it had happened a couple of times before. And every time it had happened, it had ended up in this massive argument. So I was like paranoid every time I went to sleep that I needed to hold his hand. I was terrified that if I didn't hold his hand, I was going to get
There's consequences.
consequences for this. So I'd stopped holding his hand at night. And so he was like, he knew at that point Liam was an actual threat to him.
Yep.
So he said to me, Brad said to me, Liam's a doctor, he's got lots of money. You're going to pay me $60,000 or I'm going to tell your family what you do.
So Liam was a GP.
Yep. And
because you're 28 years old or whatever it is now, 26, 28, and your family still don't know that you're doing sex work.
Nope.
Okay, so he's threatening to out you for money.
Yep. And I said, no, fuck this. I told Liam, and Liam was like, I'm not giving him any more money.
Yep.
He's like, I'll give you money. I'm not giving him money.
Yep.
Even though if he gave me money, it went to him anyway. But he was like, difference.
Yep.
So I was like, nope, we're not doing this. Called my mum, called my brother, told them what was happening. And
so you told them about the abuse, or you told them about the sex work, or you told them about everything? I
told them about the sex work.
Yeah.
I told them that he was manipulating me into doing it and that I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that he was blackmailing me. And that's why I was telling them.
Okay. And how did that go over?
My brother was like, nah, okay, whatever.
Okay.
My mum, she was a little bit taken aback.
Didn't see it coming at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, didn't see, again, forgotten child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't see it coming. Didn't even have any inkling that something might have been wrong.
Yep.
So telling them.
But you didn't see them because you were, or did you manage to see them on these runs?
No.
So you went years without physically seeing.
Yeah. In fact, when I was going to Brisbane, because I'm in Brisbane, I could see my family.
Yep.
I was not allowed to tell them that I was in Brisbane.
Okay.
And so there was 2 years that even though I was in Brisbane at some point in that year, they didn't know about it and I never saw them.
Yeah. And he trained you enough where you just no longer thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've told them. How did Brad go with you refusing to, or with Liam refusing to pay the money?
He compiled a dossier of screenshots from the websites that I was advertised on and sent them to his surgery, to Liam's surgery. And it had been many years.
So he followed through with his threat.
He followed through with his threat, yeah. And it had been years that my face was showing in these advertisements because prior, like it used to be a thing that you wouldn't show your face.
Yeah.
Like your face would always be blurred out. All of the girls that came on board, whenever we did photos and I was editing them, I would be blurring out their faces, removing tattoos, anything that might identify them.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that. I had to have my full face on display.
Yeah.
And so he took all of these, sent them up to the surgery. Liam's stepdaughter received the package, and thankfully they didn't really do anything with it.
So to clarify, Liam was single. He wasn't in a relationship when he started seeing you.
No, he was single, been out of the relationship. He and his previous partner had not had a particularly amicable breakup, but they were broken up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So his stepdaughter works at his surgery.
Yeah.
She's received this package.
Yeah.
Basically saying Dad is seeing this prostitute.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just one prostitute, because I had a blonde wig, I had a red wig, I had a black wig. So I had 3 different profiles.
Right.
With 3 different sets of prices and extras and all of this, different names. And I had also started a profile for something called financial domination.
Mm-hmm.
So when they got this dossier, they're seeing this multi-personality, multiple identity prostitute and financial dominatrix. And so it's not a good look for me.
And dad earns a lot of money.
Dad earns a lot of money, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, when Liam passed, the stepdaughter passed it to Liam's actual daughters, genetic daughters.
Yeah.
And then I had to deal with the interrogation of the 3 daughters and the first wife.
Yeah. I mean, I guess from their point of view, I can see why they would be concerned. It makes 100% sense that how are you not victimizing him?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the financial domination.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to understand that this looks bad. And
Yeah.
I understand entirely. This looks terrible.
Yeah.
I said, I want you to know I did not, all of the stuff that I've had to do in this past few years, I have no choice in it.
Yeah.
I was manipulated to the point where I didn't think I existed as a human being. The financial domination never went anywhere because he didn't want me to stop sleeping with people for money.
Yeah.
But it was my desperate attempt to give him money without having to sleep with people.
Yeah.
For me, that was an out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that makes sense. So you formed a relationship with Liam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's been outed as a client.
Mm-hmm.
You knew the family at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You were the girlfriend.
Yep.
Yep. How did that affect you and Liam?
Honestly, it wasn't terrible because when...
Did you kind of see it coming? It was always going to or do you think it was something you thought could be hidden, stay hidden, or did
Yes.
you? Yeah. Oh, you did.
Yeah.
I suppose you're 10 years without mum and dad, without your family knowing.
Yeah. And because nothing, like the immediate blackmail repercussions, there was none of them really. Like, yes, the dossier got sent up, but it didn't get taken anywhere. Not until after he had passed.
Yeah.
So in between the escape and like the escape from Brad and when Liam passed, I was his girlfriend. I was somebody that he had met while he was in Cairns. And we'd gotten along really well.
Yeah.
And I decided to become his carer as he was going through cancer.
Yeah. So it was an easy story to sell.
Yeah, it was an easy story to sell.
How did you actually leave Brad?
So when he sent me back up to Brisbane,
Yep.
and the abuse cycle flipped from love bombing straight back into abuse.
Yeah.
I decided that was it. I had said my goodbyes to Liam and to Z, who was the other girl with me, and I was on my way to the Story Bridge to go jump off it.
Yep.
And Z called me, Liam called me, and I answered, and he immediately booked tickets for us to fly up to Townsville.
Yep.
And that was it. That was me out and safe.
Okay.
And I think it was probably 2 or 3 months.
So did you tell Brad you were done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm done. That's it. I'm out.
I'm imagining that didn't go down too well.
It did not.
Yeah.
It did not. And one of my biggest fears was that my dog was still down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was 2 or 3 months before I went back down to Sydney to collect my things and get my dog and bring her up.
Did you go down on your own?
No.
Yeah.
No. So he came with me.
Yeah.
And
but she was still another one of his girls.
yeah, she'd stopped working though.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
She was like, I'll put an ad in if I want, but I'm not really gonna be taking much money.
Okay.
'Cause she had also unfortunately contracted genital herpes.
Yeah.
through her experience. So
Yep.
she was like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Okay. Yep.
I'm like, it's very fair.
Yeah.
Very fair.
So he didn't chase you?
He didn't chase me because I think he knew if he tried to, he would not end in a good place.
Yep.
I had too much information
Yep.
for him to really pursue me.
Yep.
That he's probably more of a coward than anything else. So
Yeah. So he kind of, once you took his power away, he kind of didn't have much to go back on, apart from the threat of, the dossier.
Yeah. And when I went down to Sydney and I was packing my things, he threw a tantrum at one point.
Yeah.
Thrown all of the boxes that I had packed, kicked them all and everything. Like, we called the police because both Z and I were worried for our own safety.
Yeah. I'm actually amazed you had the balls to go down and get your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's almost confronting your abuser. Like, that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
But I said, as you said, you had the dog there, so you had a reason.
I had a reason.
Yeah. But the fact that he let you, that really surprises me.
Yeah. Well, he still had carrots that he was dangling.
Yeah.
So
he hadn't given up.
And my naive little self was still hopeful that there was a goodness in them and that he would make good on the promises that he made.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, I see I've pushed you too hard. Like, obviously you've done a lot of work and I've obviously pushed you too hard. I will 100% give you all of the money.
Still waiting.
Still waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've left. You've left. Did you hear from him anymore?
Yeah.
Like, what you did?
Oh, yes.
It was ongoing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was ongoing. It was still ongoing. Because my name was on everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was bankrupt. So all of the businesses, the company name, the phone accounts, all the banking, everything was still in my name.
Okay.
So trying to get the phones sorted out, everything was in my name.
Yeah.
All of that.
So your credit's in the shit. You can't. Yeah.
Everything. I was getting phone calls because the car loan people were looking for him and looking for the car.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh,
You don't have it.
I'm in Townsville now.
Yeah. Did you have to go bankrupt?
No.
Okay.
No, thank goodness I did not have to go bankrupt. When I think it was when the AFP started, came to see me for their investigation, and they connected me to the Red Cross.
Okay.
The Red Cross were able to, with another finance company. I can't exactly remember what the finance company is called or what they did, but they sent letters to the creditors explaining that I had been in an abusive relationship and all of this.
Yeah.
And so those debts were forgiven.
That's good.
I think I still had about $7,000 to $10,000 that I had to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, they were forgiven. But it did ruin my credit score for
Yeah.
a good long while.
But thank God for the Red Cross in that regard.
Thank goodness for the Red Cross.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't have known how to do that.
No. And my phone, even now, my phone is not under my name because I couldn't pass a credit check to get a phone number.
Yeah. So you're living with Liam?
Yes.
Yep. And Liam's fighting cancer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and Liam passed away?
Yep.
Yeah. So how long ago did Liam pass?
2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you still have any sort of relationship with his family?
No.
No? Did that get ruined from the dossier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That got completely ruined. His youngest daughter and I used to go clubbing together.
Yeah.
And she would constantly make jokes because we'd all go out to dinner with Karen, the first wife and everything, and she'd be like, "Oh, this is bio mum and stepmom."
Yeah.
So we were in
You were a blended family.
We were blended.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the dossier pretty much ruled it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. When you mentioned the AFP, so that happened after Liam died. When did this roughly happen?
About 2018, 2019.
So when Liam passed and you were his carer, that was what you were doing for an income, or he was supporting you?
He was supporting me.
Yeah. So when he passed, how did you get by?
So after he went into remission, I went and got a job in retail. I was working in bras and things.
Yeah.
And then I became a manager at bras and things. Amazing, considering I was like, I have work experience. Like, what am I supposed to put on my resume? So I had a full-time job at the time that Liam passed. When his cancer came back and when he passed, I had a full-time job as a retail manager.
Okay.
And so I was able to support myself that way and live that way.
Yeah. How about psychologically, or were you obviously beside the fact that you're grieving your partner at the time? How did the experience of what happened over the previous 10 years or so, how was that having an effect on you on a sort of day-to-day basis?
I had already found myself into another relationship.
Yeah.
Because to me, a relationship meant security.
Okay. So you went pretty quickly after Liam died and you found someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of thought, everything's fine. I'm just going to ignore it. You know, sweep it under the rug. I've come out fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what he's doing with his life, what Brad was doing with his life, because I had completely cut off all contact when I had to call the ambulance to go rescue him from cutting his own wrists. So I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yep.
I'm not being a part of it and can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Did he actually do that? Or was it just a threat?
No, he did actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So he called me to tell me that he had slit his wrists in the bathtub.
Okay.
And I phoned the paramedics and they took him to hospital.
Yeah.
Years later, I actually met the woman that went to the hospital. That was his next, like, who was essentially going to be my replacement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, he had actually done that.
Yeah, someone like that, you couldn't imagine him being without someone like you for long.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't realize how much of an impact it had on me until the PTSD got to the point where I couldn't ignore it.
Yep. What were your symptoms?
I was having dissociations.
Yeah.
So I would dissociate at work. I would lose time. I remember I was on a phone call and then the next thing I know, I'm answering the other phone call because my hand was poised above the transfer button, but it had been like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'd just frozen. I almost completely blacked out and fell in bras and things. I just walking to put something on a shelf and I fully blacked out and almost fell onto the floor.
You didn't know this was PTSD at the time?
Didn't know it was PTSD at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, something's going wrong. And then I would start having panic attacks about going into work. Yep. Even though I loved working where I was working, I was having panic attacks. And I'm like, something is just not right. And when the AFP knocked on the door, it was kind of like, this is why things aren't right. Because I'm never going to escape this person.
So that was completely out of the blue?
Completely out of the blue. No idea that this was coming for me. And when Liam's daughters got the dossier and interrogated me about it, I almost checked out at that point.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm never escaping this. And then I got to the point where I was like, it's fine. I've escaped it. I don't have contact with them anymore. I can move on with my life.
Yep.
AFP knocks on my door to talk about it.
So every time you're getting away from it, you're getting dragged back in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that was the point that I started self-medicating.
Yeah.
with narcotics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the go with the AFP? Why did they knock on your door?
So they were building an investigation because they had in Canberra, they had two people come to them, and one of them I knew who they were. The other one I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they were coming out. They were wanting to investigate him for human trafficking, sex trafficking, child trafficking.
Child trafficking.
Child trafficking.
Hmm.
So the girl that I knew that was a part of the investigation, she was 17 at the time that I met her.
Okay.
There was another girl that we met in Adelaide and brought back to Sydney. She had just turned 16.
Wow. Okay. So even though the age of consent is 16, you cannot get involved in sex work until you're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Yeah.
They're underage. They shouldn't.
It's a very slippery slope.
Very slippery slope. And he was like, no, it's fine. You know, they don't live with their family. They're like technically not emancipated, but like the girl from Adelaide was living on the streets.
Yeah.
And
there's no threat.
No. And you know, he's like, they know what they're getting into and they're agreeing with it. Like,
which is the reason you can't do it till you're 18 because they don't.
Yeah. So the 16-year-old thankfully didn't hang around for very long. Yeah. The 17-year-old, I think she was with us for maybe a month or two, and then I thought she had gotten away, and it wasn't until after I'd left she got pulled back in once I had gotten away from the situation.
Yeah.
And so they were investigating him for one of those instances, and also taking advantage of migrant workers, like so people who were here on like student visas, work visas, all those sorts of things, don't really know anything, and he took
advantage of anyone in any situation. If he found a weakness, he exploited it.
Yeah.
So you were part of his business practices.
Mm-hmm.
You were part of his businesses. Were you at all were you a target for the AFP?
Initially, they weren't sure. They weren't sure if I was still connected or not.
Yep.
Once they realized I wasn't connected, that's when they approached me. And they weren't sure if I was connected or not because he was continuing to use my identity to lure in other women.
Right.
So he was luring other women in with my identity for 2+ years after I got away.
Wow. Do you know how long they were surveilling you to see whether you were still involved with him?
Yeah.
Do you know how long they were surveilling? They didn't get into it. That must have felt weird knowing that they were surveilling you. Like you're the target of an AFP. So for anyone overseas, AFP is the Australian Federal Police, kind of our version of the FBI, I guess you'd call it. But so they're surveilling you. You had no idea. They're obviously good at what they do.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they've knocked on the door.
Yeah, and in fact, the first time they knocked on the door, they were just like, "Oh, we're just wondering if you'd noticed any disturbances on your street. We've had some reports." No, I hadn't seen anything. It's all good. Okay. Next time they came up to the door, "We're actually from the Australian Federal Police. We're here to talk to you about this person."
Yeah, right. So no inkling.
No.
So that must have been like a punch in the face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What were they like to deal with?
Very good.
Yeah.
They were actually very, very good. They were very compassionate, very supportive.
What did they want from you?
As much information as I could give them. And so frustratingly, I had burnt pretty much everything like a month before they came to see me. Because I was like, oh, cathartic practices, burn all the
Yep. New start.
Should not have done that. Should not have done that. But I was able to give them so much information into what had happened and how it happened that they were able to arrest him and take him to court, and he's still in jail.
So he went to trial. He pled not guilty.
He pled not guilty. In fact, I just did a quick Google search yesterday.
Yep.
And in 2022, he I think it was his appeal got overturned. So he
he appealed. So he's fighting this every stretch of the way.
fighting it every step of the way.
Yeah. So when did the trial and verdict come in? What year are we talking?
2019, 2020.
Okay.
Early 2020.
Yeah. So he's pretty much in the middle of his stretch now.
Yeah. I think so he got some, depends on, because they don't tell you directly from the AFP. So I've had to try and find the information myself. Some places say 10 years, some places say 11 years.
Yeah.
So he's about just over halfway. So I think he was originally eligible for parole next year.
So you weren't required for the trial?
No, they did try to get me to go down to appear on the witness stand and testify, but I had just had a knee surgery, couldn't fly. So they relied on the information and the statements that they had recorded the first time that I sat down with them.
Yeah. Is it something you wish you were able to do?
Go testify?
Yeah. I can imagine that would be a very double-edged sword.
Yeah. I don't know if I could have done it.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have been able to.
You don't know what you don't know, do you? You just...
Yeah. But that fear, I don't think I could have dealt with it. I still feel it here in Townsville.
Yeah.
And my house is surrounded by cast iron gates.
Yeah.
But that's the reason that I bought the house, was because it was surrounded by cast iron gates.
Yeah.
Because I needed that sense of security.
Yeah.
And I've installed extra door chains on all of my doors just in case.
Yeah.
Because I am terrified that when he gets out, he'll come and find me.
Yep. So his name is available on Google for those that want to do that. We're not going to go sprouting it out or anything, but I don't think it would be too hard for anyone who really cares to, wants to put in the effort to find it. You were having these experiences of PTSD symptoms before the AFP knocked on your door. Did that exacerbate when they did?
Yeah.
Did they put you in touch with any sort of support? You mentioned the Red Cross.
So from the Red Cross, I was linked up with a psychologist.
Yep. So you've never seen any psychologist until this point?
Yeah, that's right. My stepfather actually once made a joke that I needed to go see a doctor because it wasn't a matter of what was wrong with me, but not what was not wrong with me.
Yeah, it's a shorter list.
And as a 15-year-old, that doesn't really sit well.
Yeah.
So, the first time that I went to a psychologist was through the Red Cross.
Yep.
After AFP came knocking on my door.
I can't even imagine the process of starting to, you go to a psychologist and it's like, tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah. She said to me, she's like, how are you not in psychosis? How are you not more broken mentally? I don't know.
You're surviving.
Yeah.
And human beings can survive, doesn't mean they're thriving.
No,
you're just surviving. Your head is literally just above water.
Yeah.
And we're built for that. We're built for struggle. We're built for survival, but that doesn't mean that we should just be okay with that. And you did that for a very long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so long.
Yeah.
It was that there were so many days I just wish I didn't wake up.
Yeah.
Because that was all my life was going to be.
So in this entire process, have you ever actively attempted suicide?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
How was the experience of recovering from that? So there's a lot of people that attempt suicide. Obviously, there's far too many that succeed, but there's not a lot of people that talk about what it felt like after an attempt.
Yeah. So when I tried to jump the bridge in Brisbane, coming away from that, I was just, there's no hope. There's
Yep.
nothing. Like the only light for me was Z and Liam.
Yeah.
And their ability to pull me out of that and
Yeah.
give me hope for the future.
So they were your tribe.
Yeah.
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 So but you didn't have medical help at that time.
No.
Yeah.
Well, only whatever help Liam would do.
He's a doctor. Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in later years, I still didn't really tell people when I had made the attempts. So it would happen, and afterwards I was like, okay, well, you tried and it failed, so I guess it's not your time.
Yeah.
And then just try and push on.
Yeah.
And, like trying to explain to psychiatrists and psychologists that the suicidal ideation hasn't ever really disappeared. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's my ability to find reasons to keep going that stop it from developing further.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the negative doesn't go away, but the positives outweigh the negatives.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you've got to work real hard to find those positives.
Yeah.
But once you start doing it, you can you're able to find them a lot easier. Yeah. I was back down to a point where I would have checked out over Christmas, or just before Christmas.
Yep.
And thankfully I was staying up at the clinic.
Yep.
So that managed to get me through. And of all the therapy that I've been doing, I've, my dark humor.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I love dark humor.
Dark humor is like my most fluent language.
I think it's the most common thing that trauma people have.
Absolutely.
Is dark humor.
Absolutely. And so I utilized my dark humor to not pull me out of it, but to put a roadblock in the way.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, if I'm going to die and I don't have a legacy to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make this the biggest, most dramatic, over-the-top funeral you've ever seen, like Coming to America style. I want insanity, dancers, diamond-encrusted coffin, and I'm not allowed to do anything until then.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that stopped me.
Yep.
Was that, nope, I have to do this.
You're being defiant.
Yeah.
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 And defiance has kept you alive.
Yeah.
Your entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Against the odds. So I want to go down a therapy route. A lot of the things that medical professionals would use to treat you, he used as weapons against you.
Oh, yeah.
How do you undo that?
Very difficult.
Still in the process.
100% still in the process.
Yeah.
I can't do guided meditation.
Yep.
Don't even ask me to try hypnosis. Any kind of alternative medicine practices, Reiki, any of that. I'm instantly, nope.
Yeah.
No. God's all right. Not going to happen.
Yeah. And we're not saying none of that works for other people, but it was weaponized against you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was brainwashing and torture for me.
Yeah. And one of the most effective ways to deal with trauma or surviving trauma is cognitive behavior therapy.
Yeah. And also within EMDR therapy, you've got the basis of the EFT tapping.
Yep.
All of that.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, and I have discussed it before, but for the EMDR is it's basically eye movement deprogramming No, whatever it is. It's a trauma-based therapy where both sides of your brain are engaged either visually or tactilely while you're processing an emotion, generally reliving a trauma. And it's somehow kind of removes the emotional attachment of that trauma. I've had it myself, and it's been very effective in certain things, not so effective in others. So it is a highly used trauma therapy, but you've got to be receptive to it. And when it's weaponized against you, I don't know how you. The one thing with PTSD is your entire body and your brain becomes a trauma response vehicle. Everything is about surviving. So the moment the brain, it's not even the body, the moment the brain in its earliest flight or fight response identifies that something could be a threat, it does everything it can to protect you from that threat. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And the trouble with PTSD is more often than not, it's actually blocking a good response.
Yeah.
So when you're doing it, when they're doing EMDR, your baseline would be, shit, this is bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then also, because with EMDR therapy, you need to be able to tap into a feeling of nurtured and cared and safe,
Mm-hmm.
which is completely alien to me.
Yeah.
Not even just foreign, just completely alien.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it feels like to be properly nurtured, cared for, and safe within any context.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. And it's something that just people take for granted. Yeah. Why did you want to come on this podcast today and tell your story? Because you've never told this story.
Yeah.
Why today? What's the...
So, through all of my therapy, I have been quietly doing the work, working past a lot of blocks and core beliefs and trying to get through that. And I'm at a point where I have something come up, external stimulus, external event, anything, and I know why I'm having a response. I know the tools I need to make it through that response. However, I'm still having those responses.
Yep.
And I have been, I suppose I have been living in fear of the consequences of that blackmail defiance the entire time.
Yep.
Like, even though it's something I don't talk about, the few times that I have spoken about it have been completely turned against me, and I have lost community.
Yep.
Purely for what I've experienced. So,
which makes it even, I was going to say use the word weirder, makes it even more strange that you want to tell your story in this forum.
yeah.
But I'm without trying to put words in your mouth, I'm imagining it's because the one thing that your biggest fear is the story getting out.
Yeah.
By you doing it.
Yeah. This is me taking ownership of what happened to me.
Yep.
And the story, because the narrative was stolen from me with that dossier.
Yep.
So this is me reclaiming that narrative, because I not only do I struggle physically to engage in my passions, but I have an entire community turned against me.
Yep.
From my passions, because of what I've experienced, and I don't know necessarily if that community has access to that dossier or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a shadow that is continuously haunting me.
Yep.
And last year I started a new relationship, and I thought I'd found a kindred spirit. I was like, it's like a male version of me. This is fantastic. I love this. I opened up a little bit about what I experienced, and less than a month later, he left me for his ex.
Yep. So it's a slap in the face.
It's a massive slap in the face, you know. And
Which, I mean, everyone goes through heartbreak, but the problem is with you, it just puts you back to square one.
yeah,
And that's the problem with a trauma response.
yeah,
Is it's one thing you can handle,
yeah,
two
yeah,
things too much.
yeah, yeah. You know, and when it keeps happening, it's all that, you know, challenging your negative cognitions.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's so hard to do. The brain is a really lazy organ.
but when you keep challenging it, and then something reaffirms the thing that you've been challenging,
Yeah.
continuously.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah, the wall is just gets another layer or two higher,
yeah,
and you've got to start from the bottom.
yep, and you know, I realized that I was losing my voice because I was not speaking. And when I first escaped and I came to Townsville and I discovered burlesque, I wanted to build a platform to empower and inspire healing in others, particularly those that have gone through any kind of domestic or sexual violence.
Mm-hmm.
And that passion, that drive, that purpose got completely squashed out by a toxic community judging me for something that had happened to me.
Which is the exact opposite you would imagine from a burlesque
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is about empowerment and that it's disappointing to hear that it's gone that way.
It's really sad. It's crazy. But I just got I was like, I think I'm at a point now where I'm like, this is like a boss battle.
Yep.
On my little game of life.
Yeah.
And I have to face it or I'm going to be haunted by it forever.
And the other thing is it's instead of drip feeding, it's just put it out there and I guess come what may.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I don't think if I just tried to get it all out there, it'd probably have to be like the length of Lord of the Rings.
Well, that can be the novel. That can be the book you write.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. I've got to get back into writing. It's really interesting. I wanted to start looking at writing again, and during one of my stays up at the clinic, I took my laptop in and I read back through all of the stories that I had written during my abuse, and after coming through therapy and reading it with the lenses of someone who's grown a bit more, I was so sad. I felt so much heartbreak for the child that had gone through all of that. I was like, oh my God, you poor soul. Like, oh, very healing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, I can honestly see you writing a book about your experiences, whether it's something you do for your own therapy, or and there's definitely a benefit, an internal benefit to talking about things. And to be honest, that's why I started this podcast. It's part therapy.
Yeah.
It's sharing my story and hearing other people's stories of. It's not about the trauma. It's about the survival. It's about the moving forward. It's a shitty term, but post-traumatic growth. When you're going through it, it's one of those ones that you want to punch someone in the face, but it's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I would encourage people to do is if you have the ability and requirement to go to a private clinic that offers trauma counseling, that offers trauma courses, that type of thing, own it.
Yeah.
Go. It is, to me, I know it saved my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I started seeing someone about this in like 2018, before 2020.
Yep.
And I was still trying to live my life while doing the therapy. And it wasn't until 2022 when I had like my massive break, like psychotic break, that I was like, I just need to focus on therapy.
Yep.
I need to focus on therapy. Therapy is my full-time job. My only purpose for existing at the moment is to heal from everything that I've been through.
Yeah. Now, so medically, as you alluded to earlier, you've had medical problems, physical medical problems your entire life,
Yeah.
like fibromyalgia type things, and the thalamus. You've recently been diagnosed with FND,
Yep.
so functional neurological disorder. This is something that people is becoming more and more commonly diagnosed. And yeah, how does it present for you?
I start to lose strength and I get muscle weakness. So I lose strength in my muscles. I also experience paralysis,
Yeah,
temporary paralysis. Sometimes it's really minor, sometimes it's my entire body.
yeah,
Um, my my brain will shut down, like the brain fog is intense, and I'll start slurring my words, all those sorts of things. Um, yeah, it basically shuts my entire body down.
yeah. So FND is basically a software issue with your body works, your brain works, but they don't communicate together very well
Yeah.
when, especially under times of stress. But it does vary from other. So my eldest daughter has FND. Her best friends from school, her best friend's mother had FND, and she was in a wheelchair for a while. She still has to use a crutch every now and again. And it has flare ups. It goes up,
Yeah.
and it's commonly mistaken for seizures are very common. They're not epileptic seizures as far as like it's not the brain going nuts and having seizure activity within the brain, but it's the body is experiencing a real seizure. And it has a lot of a negative connotation. And it used to be called pseudo seizures, which is just a really shitty term. And it's often, especially in the medical fraternity, it just basically means you're putting this on,
Mm.
which is the biggest load of shit. Um, it's a very real but very hard to diagnose and treat condition.
Yeah.
And it's primarily, and there's the dumb thing is it needs neurological treatment, it needs psychiatric treatment, it needs physiotherapy, it needs a really multidisciplinary approach. But most of the time, if you turn up to ED with symptoms, it's all in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just think better thoughts.
Yep.
So it's a tough diagnosis. It is a real diagnosis, and I'd love people to learn more about FND. It is There has been a massive worldwide increase in the symptomology of it, and they don't know why. Now, there's a lot of people that call it the TikTok disorder. Um, it's and look, there could be something in. We don't know what causes it. That's ultimately
Exactly.
back in years ago. It used to one aspect of it was used to be called conversion disorder, which was basically a physical manifestation of a trauma response, which for a lot of people it still is. I know with my daughter, if she experiences a heavy stress event, her symptoms flare massively.
Yeah.
She got Tourette's type symptoms, and I remember going to the footy once, and she was just ticking left, right, and centre. I'm like, you haven't done this for ages. What's happened?
Mm.
And she'd come out, and it was a day that a person had suicided off a building, and she walked out and saw the body
Yeah.
at the workplace, and which is traumatic.
Yeah.
And she thought she was okay with it, but really. The brain obviously,
Yeah. The brain decided no. Like,
I'm not okay.
yeah. When it's like Christmas, I had a full locked in episode. It was the most intense episode I've ever had, where literally every single part of my body shut down, including my eyelids. I had no control over them.
Yeah.
And I couldn't swallow. I couldn't breathe properly. It was terrifying.
Yep.
And all I had done before that was have a chat with somebody about some ideas that I had.
Mm.
And the meeting itself went well.
Yep.
But the brain was,
Found something.
brain was like, no.
Yeah. And and it's not always just a trauma response. It can be something, and ultimately nobody knows what causes it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really hard to treat.
So I also get mini locked-in episodes and temporary paralysis, like FND temporary paralysis from orgasms now.
Yep.
And it is horrible.
That can make it awkward. Yeah.
Like, it is very dampening on the sex drive of a single person.
Yeah.
You try explaining that to
The
someone.
rescue. Yeah. I can't move. So that good.
Yeah. I have had to have, like, when I've been chatting to people, I'm not shy about the fact that I have disabilities.
Yep.
Because they affect every aspect of my life. And
It would almost be catfishing not to.
yeah, exactly. And so they're like, well, what kind of conditions do you have? And I explain them, and I'm like, but it just means that you can say you did someone so good they ended up in a wheelchair.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Just dark humor.
Oh, it makes the world go round. It's the best.
Oh, it does.
It is the best. Willow, thank you so much for sharing your story. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, bring up, an experience or a message?
I suppose there's so much. Like, we've been talking for a while, but it still only scratches the surface
100%.
of what's happened. I think a message that I would want to pass on to someone is that it doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's when you're in the darkness, there is beauty to be found. And finding beauty and purpose in darkness makes it easier to get through those dark places.
Yep.
Because
if you don't see darkness, you don't see light.
Yeah.
If you don't have sad, you don't have happy.
Yeah.
If you don't have pain, you don't have love.
Exactly. And like, one of my mantras lately has been that great compassion does not come without great suffering.
100%. Yeah.
And, if I'm suffering, it's because I have so much love and compassion to give.
And it's one of those juxtapositions with antidepressants is, yes, they make you feel less sad, but when your downward flexion is diminished, so is your upward deflection.
Yeah.
And it minimizes both emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people get off your antidepressants. No, absolutely not. But coming off them, I came off mine quickly for a medical reason, and it was the most overwhelming thing I've ever experienced. It was like my emotions had gone from being muted to full volume, and it was way too much.
Yeah.
It was just intense, and I ended up back in the clinic.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to get treatment. Don't be scared to, there's so much embarrassment with the word psychiatric clinic. It's no different than if you got a compound fracture of your leg, that you'd go in and, go to hospital, get it fixed, and go to rehab.
Yeah.
That's all.
Like, psychiatric clinics can be scary. I was very scared the first time that I checked in.
They're terrifying. The first time you go in is terrifying. The second time is, I know what's coming, and I know why I'm here.
Yeah. And it's like the first time was just so much overwhelm, so much stuff happening. And
often the first time you go in is at the peak of your crisis.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I went back again for a second time and started doing the day programs, like the outpatient programs, that things started turning for me. And when I really sat down and went, okay, I'm going to do the therapy, I'm going to give it everything that I have, that's when things started processing.
Yeah.
And things got worse before they get better. Like, I now have much more vivid memories of things that I thought were fever dreams.
Yeah, and that's it. You've got to be, because your brain does silo shit,
Yeah.
and part of therapy is breaking down the silos,
Yeah.
which is hard.
It's so hard, but
You've got to be vulnerable, and you cannot dip a toe in.
no, yeah, you've got to go all in.
Yeah.
But it has done so much. Like, not just in helping me process and come to terms with, you know, being sex trafficked, but also all of the other things that had happened to me prior to that.
Yeah.
The way that I was raised and how I ended up in that situation. Don't think I would have gotten there without therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then it's all the Swiss cheese model. Everything has to line up for paths to happen.
Mm.
If you came from, and it's not a blame game.
Mm.
It's just an acceptance.
Yeah.
One of the courses is what is it?
Acceptance and
commit.
therapy.
Yeah, the ACT. And it's a really important thing, and it's something I actually haven't done yet as a course, but I am looking at doing it, because part of denial doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
Saying something didn't happen doesn't work.
But also going in with the well, it's happened, I can't change it. That's also not the best mentality, because you're not processing it.
No, that's right.
Yeah, and
owning it, understanding it.
yes. I was watching a show called Human Resources. Like, it's made by the same people that do that Big Mouth with the hormone monsters.
Mm.
And they did an episode on grief and the personification of grief. He was saying that the only way to get over things is to go through it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just apply to grief. It applies to everything.
Yeah.
Like, the only way to get over this trauma is to go through it.
Yeah. 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 And it's uncomfortable, but there's light at the end of that dark tunnel.
Oh yeah. I'm like, oh my God, my boundaries are so strong. I'm so proud of me for being having such strong boundaries.
Someone who was told how to do everything.
Yeah. And whose own boundaries, when telling someone stop and they keep going and having to accept that as normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got such strong boundaries now.
Yeah.
Thank you, therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it changes so much. I've got much dearer friends now than I think I've ever had. My bestie, we're thick as it, ride or die.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as TMI between us.
Yeah.
And I met her in the trauma program, actually. Yep. As much as this is the first time we're talking about trauma, the therapy that I've done to help process it has enabled me to have connections like this.
Yep.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've seen each other at the clinic.
Yep.
Number of times.
Yeah.
So it's and it's I just can't stress to people enough to accept that there are ways of getting help. You don't have to be in a dark place on your own. Get your tribe, but get help as well. And it's a combination of both. You can't do either of them in singularity.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you feel like you don't have a tribe at the moment, they're there. You just haven't found them yet.
100%.
And sometimes the only way to get them is to go do the hard things. Like, I wouldn't have my ride or die tribe right now that I have if I hadn't gone to therapy.
Yeah.
I would never have met them.
No. You wouldn't have been open to them or recognized them, and you wouldn't have the self-awareness.
No. So
yeah. Willow, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I really do thank you for having the balls to do this.
No, thank you
to own your story. I wish you nothing but love and success. if anyone, so Willow did change her name recently, legally.
Yes.
She's been
Yes.
so she wasn't born as Willow, but she has. I've only ever known her as Willow. I actually did not know it wasn't her real her birth name until recently.
Posted my little fake obituary.
Yeah, so she scared the shit out of everyone because she posted an obituary basically burying her or announcing the death of her previous name, but people that don't know Willow properly kind of didn't get it and they thought she'd committed suicide. I remember my wife came in and said, "Oh, have you?" And she's like, "Are you okay?" I said, What's wrong?" She's like, "Have you looked at Facebook?" I said, "No." And she's like, "I think Willow killed herself." I'm like, "What?" And then I looked at Facebook and I read it and I sent Willow a message going, "What's going on? You're freaking everyone out." And she's like, "Oh," she messaged back straight away. I'm like, yeah. Right. That makes sense.
The first line, this person has passed metaphorically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's you. That's your complexity and your humor.
My dark humor coming out. And I think I told you about one of my last Tinder profiles. Could make a massive amount of jokes about how I'm a walking red flag made of exquisite quality, except that the band from Trivia would suggest otherwise. I can't. And that's when I realized I started to really need to speak more and share more authentically.
Yeah.
Because it got to a point where I couldn't talk about myself without turning it into humor.
Yeah.
And
when you express things in that type of way, if people don't know your story, they don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh yeah, you scare a few people.
Yeah, but and my hope as with this podcast is that somebody may hear it and either resonate it with themselves or see something from someone else that resonates with them about somebody's journey, somebody's story, somebody's treatment, and say, I see that and I either need to get that person help or I need to ask them a question or I need to go and get some help myself.
Yeah.
And don't ever be scared to ask for help. That's the big takeaway from all of this.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And it's scary, but push through that fear because it's worth it.
It's worth it. Good on you.
Absolutely worth it.
Perfect way to leave it. Thanks, Willow. Much love. And everyone, if you want to know any more about Willow's story or if you want to contact her in any way, just come through me. So contact@beyondthecall.au. She's a remarkable person with a remarkable story. And I hope one day to be reading her book.
Books, probably.
Yeah. Volume 1, 2, 3. All right, darling. Well, thank you so much. And thanks everyone. And please leave some feedback. We really do read it, appreciate it, and learn from it. So thanks everyone. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beyond the Call. If you like what we're about, please make sure you subscribe, and if you can leave a review, that would be appreciated. If you have feedback or suggestions for future guests, please contact me via my socials. Please share with your networks and help me expand my reach. It's a great privilege for people to share their stories and allow us to go beyond the call.